So we are back, and we wanted to talk about some more steps that we are taking towards a waste-free lifestyle.
One of the first things we wanted to address was how some companies do not care about the environment. Some companies are really trying hard. Some are just kind of like, doing their part to look good. And there's some companies that are straight up like evil and do not care. They just obviously don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's certain things that we use every day that you don't really think about as being like single use. Like a Bic lighter. A Bic lighter, every single person's got a Bic lighter laying around. Whether you smoke cigarettes or you smoke anything, you don't smoke, you have them for birthday candles, whatever. They're not just a single usage, but once they're dead, once they run out of fluid, they're done. And they end up being like thrown in the campfire so they explode and or they just are just in the landfills. And technically, it's considered like home hazardous waste. You're supposed to dispose of them a certain way, but I mean, nobody really is doing that. And so, yeah, it's really easy to do something about that. I mean, like, I'm not saying you have to boycott Bic completely, but like, maybe. I mean, if they're not going to do anything about it, then like,
yeah.
But the way, it changes is by like, okay, like, well, that's not a good option. What's the other option? Well, that's simple. There's clipper lighters. Those you can refill. So that doesn't need to be something that's like just dead once you are done with it. It can be used for a long time. I know people that have clipper lighters from a long time ago. It's like it's kind of becomes a little collector thing. It's still not like great plastic and stuff, but like you can reuse it a lot. So there's certain things.
It's meant to be reused too, which is better than meant to be thrown away.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we have grown accustomed to using that are just kind of terrible products, and we need to, like, stop using them.
Yeah, which I guess is kind of our next topic, which is how changing your mindset towards trash and single-use and disposable items.
It's not just us trying to like change what we do. I mean, we really are trying to have like a mentality shift. One of the things we did just recently is we stopped using our trash can.
At all, yeah. We just got rid of even having one, so we didn't even have the option to just chuck it in the trash. We have to think about every little aspect, every bit of packaging.
There's not an option to use the trash, so it makes you really think about it.
Before you even purchase it, because then you're thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do with this? Because I can't just chuck it in the trash. I mean, yeah, we could just walk out to the dumpster. And there are still things. She still has some disposable diapers left that we're using up, and then we're going completely cloth. We did cloth a lot in the beginning, and then I just got lazy and started doing disposables because it's just easy and convenient, and who wants to be inconvenienced?
Yeah.
But we're going to completely get rid of that.
So it's just really with companies, we're trying to look for like alternatives, what's the alternative? What can we do? Diapers? Okay, there's cloth diapers. There's some inconvenience to that, but it's an alternative that's not terrible and can be done. a lot of things there's just not even an alternative for.
Yeah.
That's
It
it's
shouldn't
crazy.
even, it's just
It's
things
crazy.
that shouldn't exist. Like spray paint.
I love spray paint.
Touchy subject, yeah, but
I want to use spray paint. I have used spray paint for a long time. So
yeah, as artists, we're starting to really run into a lot of walls with this no trash, zero waste, because so many mediums, there's no option but to create trash.
that's the harsh truth of it. As an artist, we're really, really effed to the environment. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah,
you know,
but
I've seen a lot of companies doing things better, and honestly, like old famous painters like Van Gogh, these guys didn't go buy paint.
Yeah, they weren't going to the craft store and buying tubes of paint.
They had to mix their own paints, and they're good. They lasted, and they, you know, like if it's done right, there's a smart and nice way to do it to the environment. But you know, just these huge craft stores that just are like massive stores that you can just go buy every single color of everything all the time. We really need to like support more homemade things, you know.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
that's one thing that we're really trying to do. There's a lot of things that can be made at home that
Completely eliminate trash and are non-toxic or 100% organic. That's something we're really working on, making our own toiletries like toothpaste and hand soap, things like that create a lot of trash and packaging. Like a tube of toothpaste, nobody is going to wash out their tube of toothpaste and recycle it.
Yeah.
Like it's just no one's going to put the work into that, and it's really unfortunate because it is such a toxic thing to the environment. That's not going to break down. Which comes back to Bic and lighters. Another big thing is pens something that we discovered
Markers.
in our research. Yeah, with art supplies, disposable pens are everywhere. Every business gets pens with their names on them and buys them from China, and they're just little, you put your name on them and you see millions of them. You don't even know where they came from. We have so many pens. I'm like, why do we even have this pen from a business I've never been to?
Yeah.
But it's because they don't go anywhere. They just are circulating constantly or eventually end up in the landfill.
We read that I think since 1958 when Bic started, Bic sold like 10 billion, or it was 100 billion pens.
100 billion pens.
Enough to, if you lined them up long ways around the earth 350 times.
Yeah.
That's
how many have been created since 1950 or 1958.
There's not something being done about those. Those is just done.
They're there. They're here to stay.
So.
And if they're in the landfill, they're there. They're not decomposing.
So there is certain people trying to do stuff about it, but that's what we're trying to do, is explore the alternatives and see like what we can do and what steps we can take, what stuff we can do at home, and what stuff, what companies are doing things right so that we can support them and show other people that they should support them, because without the support of people, you hear people say that like your dollar is a vote. That's kind of the mentality of things. Albertsons just recently started doing a organics brand, O Organics, and like they have tons of organic stuff. A lot of it's wrapped in plastic, but enough people were like, I'm gonna buy organic. Now organic is like a huge thing for Albertsons. It takes like enough people being like, no, I will only support this, and then that changes.
So we could totally do that with other items besides food. Things like pens. Start buying things that are not disposable, like the lighters. Get yourself a really nice lighter that you can refill. Even a cheap clipper lighter, like Andy had mentioned, if you don't want to, invest in some fancy lighter, or you don't like it or whatever. But little things like that make a huge difference, and that's how things change, is more and more people starting to do those little things. All those little things build up.
It needs attention and awareness onto that subject, and that's what we're trying to do. So, yeah, I mean, some of the things we've been doing lately is, like we said, the trash can. We eliminated our trash can, so we can't just, like, decide that that's okay. What else did we do?
We started making sprouts.
Yeah.
That's something, just because
we found sprouts that were locally done, and that was cool, but they're all in plastic bags, and can't bring it back to them because it's sold out of stores. So we're like, well, sprouts are easy. Sprouts are so easy.
So ridiculously easy. They're basically free.
We got a sprouting jar, and you just rinse it, and then maybe we'll do a video on that. But it's so simple. It's like you don't even really need to. You just soak them and rinse them, and then you got quadruple the food or whatever, you know. Another thing easy like that, we started getting hummus powder in bulk, which basically is just like hummus already ground up. We just have to add water.
Yeah, it's we got it at Lucky's at the bulk.
Yeah.
In the bulk section, and it's super cheap, and it's exactly what's in your hummus. We just add water and mix it up, and hummus ready right there. It's delicious, too.
It's like, you know, being healthy, we love hummus. Everybody loves hummus, I think. I don't know. But it always comes in a plastic thing that's sealed in a plastic thing, and you can wash out the container. And well, what we did was we just used one of our containers we got from the
glass
store.
Ones, yeah. And you can make, we know how to make hummus with beans as well. Like, it's just a longer process, and then it's also really hard to buy tahini without packaging.
Yeah.
So it was nice to just get the powdered stuff. And it's when you want to just be quick and whip it up, it's really just super convenient.
And I was like, not sure if it would be good. It's super
really
dank.
good.
It was like just fine.
Just like what you buy at the store.
That's all it is, you know. It just didn't have the water in it, so that was a super easy thing, and now we eliminated all that waste from that.
Yeah, we eat a lot of hummus.
A lot.
We love hummus. Another thing that we did was we buy a lot of vegetable broth.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes in those, kind of like the soy milk, like we explained. It comes in those, like, cardboard cartons, which we also discussed in our previous videos, that they're really inconvenient to have to recycle because we have to mail them, and we just don't want to do that. So we just decided to eliminate that and make our own broth, which we'll show a video. We haven't made it yet. Right now, what we're doing is saving all our vegetable scraps. So like when we peel carrots or, chop up any peppers, any vegetable scraps, we've just been setting aside in the freezer in a bag, and then you boil that down and make your own broth. So when we're ready to, when we have enough to get to that point, we'll post a video and tell you how it tastes and what we think of it compared to.
I just want to say, like, we're starting. This is things we're doing, and we really are, like, trying to do our best, but it's important to remember that, like, you're not perfect. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to do zero waste right off the bat.
Just with every single thing in our life.
Yeah. So it's a lifestyle that we're trying to get to and experience fully, but it's not something that I'm going to be, like, super, like, fascist about, and, like, it's hard to, like, be perfect. You're not perfect, so, like, don't worry, I guess. You don't have, especially, like, art-wise, like, all these things, you can have these really, like, these poof, poof, poof moments of, like, everything's terrible, I don't know what to do, how do I be a good person? But don't do that, because
that's gonna make you just want to give up and not even think about it. We've done that before. This isn't we've always kind of wanted to do this zero waste lifestyle, but because of those anxieties about it,
it's
like Andy
impossible.
said, yeah, it's just impossible.
You can't
so
do
why
anything.
Even try doing it. Like, I don't even want to think about it. There's so many things, and it just becomes this circle of anxiety that
when
you just
we went
don't
through
want to
that, yeah, it's just it builds on itself.
Mm-hmm. So
and when we went through that was like 5 years ago, and since then there is so many more things that I was really stressed about trying to figure out, and then now I'm like, oh, you can just get this silicone version that's perfect, and it's no I'm like, man, that would have saved my brain before, but
it's great to see people are trying.
It is changing. It's getting better.
The change is happening, and we just need to all come together and be a part of that. So just think about that next time you're shopping and the impact that you have on our world. It's really important. And such a small thing even makes a big difference when
it starts with you.
Yeah. But it does. We are the ones who can make a change. We can't sit idly by and just wait for it to happen. That's the whole someday morning. We can't wait for someday. We have to just take that initiative. Today is that day to take that initiative. Just start small. Like we said, we don't overwhelm yourself with, well, now I got to do this, now I got to do this, and I have to eliminate. I'm not ready to do that. If you're not ready, don't do it yet. Just take
simple little steps, and it gets better and better and better.
Builds up, builds up, builds up. Power in numbers, more people. So, thanks for tuning in again. Make sure to stay tuned because we have a lot more that we want to share with you guys that we kind of talked about in this video. And make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll just see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye. Love you.